So age-wise, you're not the oldest guy on the roster, but experience-wise, you're number one. Are you getting called Unc by the young guys yet? Is it at that point yet?
Not yet. I think 30, 32, I might start getting that. So Royce is Unc.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
He has no gray yet. He got to get some gray before he's
I got some gray.
Oh, you finding a way to
It's up here. Nah, I just got a hat on. I'm not hiding it.
Devin, what's it been like having Steve here? Steve
Man,
Nash
yeah. I mean, which one?
Steve Nash.
Okay.
Steve
No,
Nash. We were just talking about Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense, man. Having two-time in the building, him being around for all of us, just knowing that he's in the gym is going to, raise the level of everything. So, I'm excited to further develop that relationship and, pick his brain. Obviously, he's a mastermind, of this sport and has been for a long time.
Is there anything in particular, right off the bat, you want to talk with him about as far as the game itself?
I mean, all of it. Him being a floor general like he is. I'm not going to say was because, a guy of that caliber, has the mind frame to, even when he's not playing, he can see what the game's going to and he can think the game at a level that nobody else can.
Look, there was Troy and there was Jay and now everyone with Dillon coming in. They just had their presumptions that you guys aren't going to get along because you've had your battles over the years, but we've seen from previous experience that's overblown every time. What do you think allows high-level competitors to put that to the side and compete together?
I mean, it's respect. At the end of the day, that's what we're out here to do. Is compete at the highest level, and I'd rather it more that way to where things get chippy than the softer route. So, I think the fans are going to love it. Everybody's going to be happy that he's on our side of it now, and I'm excited to get out there and compete with him.
I wanted to ask you about Nigel. I don't know how much you remember about his game from a decade ago when you guys played in the tournament. Sorry to bring it up.
Hell yeah,
but just kind of like a mid-post, old-school kind of guy, but now you look at him, he's a completely different player now, right?
Yeah, and he knows his spots. He knows, where to be, right time, right place. He's always going to compete and communicate at a high level. So, he has all the intangibles to be effective out there.
Back to Dillon. That persona of being the villain. He told us yesterday that he thinks there's another guy on the team that kind of can have that role too. He's going to let us figure it out. But care to share with us who you think it is?
He said Villain Jr. and
Yeah.
it's someone we
Jr.
don't expect. Those were his two hints.
I don't know. I guess he has to proclaim him, so we'll see.
Colin also talked about just how competitive the practices have been. What stood out to you about that?
Just what he said. The level on everything's high. Every little mini drill that we do, we're split up into groups, and we want to win. Everybody's charting their wins, in their head, saying them out loud, and it's just a high-level gym. Everybody's a competitor, so nobody wants to lose in anything.
Devin, when you look at obviously being a primary creator, primary ball handler, it feels like a battle for space between offenses and defenses. How do you see him kind of maximizing your talent by creating more space for you and giving you those more pockets to just kind of operate in?
I think, just figuring out the spacing out there. And I think it would take a little bit of time, kind of what we were just saying about Nigel being in the right place at the right time and punish teams for, junk defenses, blitzes. And, it's going to take some time to build. The faster we speed up that process, I think it'll be easier for everybody where, I can find that right balance of making plays for people and scoring.
I think Matt said on Media Day that you had the guys up to Flagstaff over the offseason. Can you tell us a little bit about that trip and what that was about?
I just wanted to, we had a new team, just get everybody, together and out of some of their comfort zones, being outside together on the golf course. And, we definitely got some time in the gym. So, we didn't want training camp or a week before training camp to be the first time everybody's meeting each other because, I know, how valuable those off-court relationships, directly affect being on the court together.
Look, I wanted to ask you about the Mercury. They got a couple big ones this weekend. What have you seen from them? And just like you guys are ramping up, they're making a playoff push. What's that like for basketball in the Valley?
I mean, I think the whole season they surprised a lot of people, and they went in with, no expectations from, the outside world, and you can see, that they brought it together, kept everything in-house, and continue to improve at the right time. And now they're making a push, and being down 20 last game, and still making an effort. It's like they didn't care if they won or lost; they're just playing hard, and you see what it turned into. So, back to the Valley now, 2 games, one at a time, and I know it's gonna be hype in there.
The playoffs is often a time when continuity catches up to teams. It didn't for you guys on your deep run, and for them it's not mattering either. What allows teams in basketball, you think, to do that, to click in right away and make up for experience that other teams have together?
It's just it's an energy thing, and it's contagious. You feel it through the city. I know they feel it through the locker room, and that's how our experience was, where everything's clicking at the right time. And I wouldn't say super similar to baseball, but timing is important for that, because a lot of teams are hot during the regular season and they don't face any adversity throughout the season. The first time they feel it is at the wrong time. So that's why you got to be level-headed throughout the season and just continue to stack days and get better.
Scoop got the cleats now?
Yeah, Scoop got the
Good to go
cleats.
for the playoff run?
Yeah, we need to get hot at the right time.
Yeah,
we need to get hot at the right
It's gotten a
time.
little dramatic.
It has.
I saw you golfing a couple of weeks ago, I think, with Diana Taurasi. Can you
Yeah.
speak to just kind of that relationship you've established, and how often do y'all talk basketball?
We don't talk basketball as much anymore. We talk more golf than basketball, but she's enjoying retirement. We've been on the course actually 2 times in the past 2 weeks, so a relationship that I don't take lightly, that I always embrace. And as an 18-year-old coming in here, when we'd share the same facilities, just her presence around, and if you've been around her energy is always high level. I've never seen it less than a 10, and watching her play, it was the same way. So it's something that it's definitely inspiring.
Speaking of golf, what's your handicap?
I'm still working on it. I'm watching these boys right now, though, going for USA.
I wanted to ask you about Jalen. What you've seen here, playing with him on the court for some of the first time I know you guys were working out, but just talk about his competitiveness, resiliency, and what kind of moments have you guys had in practice here the last couple of days?
Yeah, we're figuring it out. Obviously, a high talent, high athleticism, and he's a player. He has the instincts and intangibles that you can't teach. So we're gonna do a good job figuring out how to play off of each other, and we don't want to take away from any of each other. So I think aggressive is always the way. So I'm in his ear to continue to just be you, and we were all figured out around him.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. Who are you keeping an eye on?